Hi, I'm Quinn and I'm autistic. Welcome to Autismatic. Because I work full-time to pay my bills, I do most of my video work on weekends. But this last weekend, that wasn't an option. Jimmy, the Autismatic cat, was not himself last Friday, and by Saturday morning we knew something wasn't right. We contacted the vets who told us to bring him in urgently. That led to a weekend filled with trips to and from the veterinary hospital, followed by fraught attempts to get Jimmy to take his meds. The good news is that he's okay. The symptoms he had could have been a sign of something life-threatening, but thankfully they weren't, and he's well on his way to being back to normal. But that still leaves us with the worry and frustration of the last few days. Because I'm autistic and alexithemic, you wouldn't have known I was stressed if you didn't know me though. A stranger might have thought I didn't really care that much, since I dealt with everything efficiently and without any signs of being upset by it all. It can sometimes take months for the emotion of an event like that to catch up with me, but on this occasion it didn't. Once Jimmy was back home and perking up, a wave of sadness, anxiety and confusion mixed up with relief washed over me, and I shed a fair few tears. There's something special about the relationship between an autistic person and a pet that most non-autistic people don't quite appreciate. That's not to say you have to be autistic to love your pets, far from it. The bond between a human and our animal companions can be incredibly deep, and also very different from that we have with other people. But there's something difficult to quantify in the connection many autistic people feel with our pets. If you take the time to read the comments on the videos on this channel or engage with autistic people on social media, you'll see a lot of lonely people. Not bad people, unpleasant or unlikable people, just people who know what it feels like to be persistently rejected through no fault of our own. The most difficult thing for many autists in this world obsessed with normality is connecting with the humans around us. Not through a lack of desire or of willingness to accommodate others' needs, but because non-autistic people are rarely willing to meet us halfway so that we can communicate on a level field. Our lives are shaped by our own specific differences within the autistic triad. We sense things differently. Our emotional responses are often raw rather than learned, and our natural tendency is almost always towards unfettered honesty. It's this last aspect that can make our relationships with animals much more rewarding than with many of the people we encounter. The lives of our pets are quite simple compared to ours. They don't have bosses to impress, families to disapprove of them, or social status to worry about. They don't have hidden agendas or opaque priorities to factor in. We give our pets a home, a bed, and the food and water they need, and treat them with kindness. In return, they give us companionship, emotional support, entertain us, and much, much more. The communication we receive from animals is the most honest some of us will ever know, autistic or not. When Jimmy is hungry, he stands by his food bowl. When he wants to play, he brings his chosen toy over or puts his front paws on my leg and leads me to his toys. And I always know when it's midday or 5 p.m. because he shepherds me into the kitchen to give him his treats and fill his food bowl. It's not just that he can communicate his needs to me though. He's there for me too. If either Mrs. A or myself is unhappy or unwell, he's always there by our side. He checks on us, sits with us, and shows us affection no matter what mood he might have been in previously. He's been an invaluable friend to both of us in good times and bad. This last few years has been a difficult one in my personal life, and my emotional state doesn't always externally correspond to the situation. Jimmy knows though. Even though I'm leading from the front and completely disconnected from the emotional impact of a crisis in the moment, he knows what's going on when my true emotions are hidden even from myself. When those stresses finally crash down on me later, he's there again. Some of my autistic friends have never known that kind of support from another human being, not even from people they grew up with. Even those of us who do have close friends may still feel that the connection to their pets is stronger than to any human. Jimmy may remind me that it's feeding time at 5 p.m. every night, but he'll never get angry at me for forgetting something. He never doubts me or accuses me of anything untoward, never tells me I'm weird or a maverick. He can't be turned against me with lies or betray me for his own personal gain. He doesn't ask for anything I can't provide, or care that I'm not popular, trendy, or using the right language. Nor would he be bothered if someone else he liked didn't like me. He provides what we want from all our friends. He's honest, trustworthy, and there when I need him. It's a fair exchange, untainted by ambition, not coloured with social expectations, nor clouded with dishonesty. If I am kind to Jimmy, he shows me kindness back. End of. I'm lucky enough to have someone in my life who accepts me and loves me for who I am, which many autistic people never find. But even then, the thought of Jimmy coming to harm is truly horrifying. It's a testament to my wife that if I say losing Jimmy would be as much of a gut punch as losing her, she doesn't get angry with me or accuse me of not loving her as much as I should. She recognises the importance of that relationship and isn't threatened by it. You might be expecting me to come out with something profound now, some revelation about autistic life, or a reason why pets are essential to autistic people. I'm afraid I can't. I'm still feeling emotionally fragile after the weekend, so I'm running low on eloquence and bereft of pithy turns of phrase. What I will say, though, is that I know how much my pets have meant to me and how important they've been in my life. I know that I wouldn't have got through my divorce all those years ago if I hadn't had Phoebe, Jimmy's predecessor, to nuzzle into me as I tore myself apart over all the mistakes I made. And the last few years of turmoil in my own life and that of the world around me would have been far more difficult if Jimmy weren't there to cheer me up and keep me rooted in reality. So I'll sum up by saying that if you're autistic too, and you feel that animals understand you better than people, I get where you're coming from. I can only hope that myself and the thousands of other autistic advocates and content creators out there are listened to, so we may get to live in a world where people perhaps learn to treat us as kindly, fairly, and free of judgment as our pets do. Thank you for watching. Channels like this need to reach as many people as possible to make a difference, so please help increase our reach by subscribing, clicking the like button, commenting, and sharing Autismatic content on your social media. You can make an even bigger difference by becoming a patron on Patreon, or treating yourself or someone you care about to some exclusive Autismatic merch.